What if the strange videos you've seen aren't fiction, but a doorway to a hidden truth? There might be secrets buried in shadowy places that are more real than you dare to imagine. Follow me to the end of this video, and I'll reveal the person behind the mystery and some evidence that some of it could be a reality.
In the depths of YouTube, beyond the reach of trending lists and popular feeds, exist channels so strange and frightening that they challenge everything we know about the world around us.
Hi, my name is Arthur, and I'm the new presenter of the channel Scary Mysteries videos. Sometimes behind the smooth facade of familiar reality hides something inexplicable, something that attracts and fascinates with its strangeness. Our story today is about one of such phenomena, but not so much about the mysterious content itself as you might expect, but more about its creator, the person whose personality, as will become clear a little later, defines this whole story. This man doesn't exactly hide the fact that his work is nothing more than an art project. However, with each new video, he invariably challenges the viewer's perception, making them doubt, what if there is something more behind it? But let's take things in order. A year ago, a mysterious light flared up on YouTube, a channel called Briscoe Park, whose author began to share strange videos, as if extracted from some parallel world. These videos, made in the disturbing aesthetics of found footage, as if inviting the viewer to wander through the abandoned corners of our planet at night, in the beam of a powerful video camera flashlight. Gloomy swamps and silent forests, abandoned churches and mansions, long-abandoned houses and ruins of industrial facilities opened up before us from the darkness. The filming locations, like pieces of a puzzle scattered around the world, seemed to cover the entire globe, from the first videos, which seemed to depict the territory of a certain religious community in the southern United States, to the later ones, in which the author took the viewers to Europe. The castles of Scotland, the shadowy corridors of British estates, deserted French manors, some industrial relic in Germany, all of this, at first glance, seemed to be details, taken out of some unfathomable context for the viewer. The purpose of these videos also does not become clear immediately. In the channel description, there is only one laconic phrase: don't ask. Just watch. The titles of the videos are limited by numbering, from the 4th to the 16th entry, skipping the initial 3 and the missing 13th, and the description of each video looks like fragments from a researcher's diary. The author briefly reports whether some kind of disturbance was recorded at a given location and whether further observation is required. These sparse messages stir the imagination, as does the characteristic style of the first videos, which began with frames reminiscent of archival films of intelligence agencies, time stamps, coded messages, and minimalist text. All of this made the viewers feel as if they had accidentally witnessed something they were not supposed to see. The videos themselves look quite harmless, despite the fact that lonely night walks through the woods and abandoned buildings are supposed to evoke a sense of unease in the viewer. And yet, despite the gloomy surroundings, these clips surprisingly leave behind a feeling of warmth and coziness. I suppose this aura comes from the realization that you are not the one wandering around in pitch darkness in the rain and snow looking for mysterious disturbances. However, you should look more closely or watch the storyboard of the video, and the fabulous atmosphere of lonely nights away from civilization begins to crack at the seams. Strange details barely noticeable in the frame, shadows, ghostly figures, vague outlines of faces or glow-in-the-dark eyes. The smooth background noise is constantly interrupted by knocks, rustles, and whispers, the source of which always remains out of sight. There is a frightening feeling that the operator is never alone, as if someone is always accompanying or even following him. At this stage, it is still unclear what drives the mysterious explorer wandering alone in the night through abandoned places. The story begins to take shape only after a meticulous study of the first videos, where the author occasionally leaves the viewer with key clues. In some shots, the screen flashes inscriptions containing coding related to the infamous Project Stargate, a closed CIA program that investigated psychic abilities and paranormal phenomena. These clues give a rough idea of the mission. It seems that the researcher's task was to record strange phenomena, which he called disturbances, in his reports. Judging by the idea, these video reports were intended to be transmitted to higher-ups, who would make a decision based on them, whether further observation or intervention is required in this location in case of confirmation of paranormal activity. As you may have noticed, I deliberately do not go into a detailed analysis of each video, but try to give an overview. If you want to truly immerse yourself in this story, start by watching the videos themselves. That's the only way to get a complete picture. And then be sure to pay attention to the excellent 40-minute analysis of the Briscoe Park channel by the inimitable Nightmind, who as always took each frame apart, brick by brick. I'll leave links to the channel and to Nightmind's analysis in the description of this video. And after that, be sure to come back to try to answer the main question together. What the hell was that? And how real is it? So, what did the author want to convey to us by releasing these cryptic videos? By appealing to intuition and logic, it's safe to say, these are clearly not archival footage of Project Stargate. No matter how powerful the CIA looks, it's hard to imagine that in the 90s, their agents had the equipment to shoot in 4K. Moreover, the timestamps on the first videos, if I interpreted them correctly, point to 2021, which puts an end to the question of their temporal affiliation. What remains then? A game in an alternate reality? An art project? At first glance, everything points to the latter. In the description of the channel, there is a link to the author's accounts in social networks, in which he is registered under the pseudonym Breezeh. If you follow these links, it becomes clear that the creator of the channel is a talented photographer, well known in narrow circles. And apparently, he started creating the Briscoe Park universe long before the first video in the series appeared. Here he is, this man, meet him. Check out his artwork, some of which he sells as reproductions through his own online store. A link to it, by the way, is also in the description of his YouTube channel. Recognize the style? His main series, entitled Photos I Took at 3 AM, is stylistically and atmospherically identical to what we see on the Briscoe Park tapes. In preparing material for this issue, I looked at his feed on x.com, where the author has been posting for several years. If you do the same as me, you'll find some interesting details. It seems that Breezeh was suffering from some kind of creative crisis and was tormented by his own unproductivity until one of his followers advised him to start shooting video in addition to photography. Breezeh took that advice, and things seemed to pick up after that. A year later, he announced that very soon there will be a whole movie made under his direction. Well, it seems to me that the movie is already out, and you and I have already watched a few episodes of it. So, that's it? Mystery solved? No anomalies? No secret agent tracking down paranormal disturbances? Just a talented photographer walking around atmospheric locations at night with a camera, then using CGI to add intriguing details and get a little YouTube fame. It all sounds logical, and I thought so too, until recently. As is often the case, chance played a role and made me rethink my conclusions. I first noticed Briscoe Park and its author's x.com account back in 2023, shortly after the first videos were released. At that time, the project had no clear prospects. So, I saved the videos to my computer and took a few screenshots of the author's social media pages, leaving them in the archive until better times. At that time, I didn't pay much attention to a couple of posts I had photographed, which are now inaccessible. One, on x.com, was deleted by the author himself, and the other, posted on Reddit, later disappeared by decision of the moderators. Now that I've looked at them again, it seems to me that these posts may be the ray that brings this whole story to light from a completely unexpected angle. The first post on x.com was small and didn't seem worth reading, but one detail in it did stick with me. The author claimed that a mutual friend of his and Breezeh had told him about a strange peculiarity. The photographer allegedly suffers from somnambulism and could shoot some of his images while unconscious. I might not have even paid attention to that post if I hadn't soon come across another, more detailed post on Reddit. Its author claimed to be well acquainted with Breezeh and had spent a long time hanging out with him together, somewhere in Tennessee. The post mentioned that the photographer told him about an interesting detail from his family history. His grandfather did participate in the aforementioned Stargate project. According to the author of the post, Breezeh's grandfather would sometimes take him along on short field experiments, leaving him in front of fences while he himself worked. Afterward, they would go fishing, as if they were normal days. During one of these outings, however, a certain incident occurred. The event was so serious that part of the grandfather's team refused to continue working, and Breezeh himself, also apparently influenced by the event, soon began to suffer from somnambulism. What exactly happened then, he does not remember, and adults either never asked or simply did not receive an answer from them. After becoming interested in photography, Breezeh realized that he occasionally takes pictures in his sleep. Often, when he woke up in the morning, he would find nighttime images on his camera that he didn't remember anything about. Meanwhile, the pictures themselves sometimes captured objects or phenomena whose origin he could not explain. These shots fascinated him with their style and atmosphere, and soon he began to imitate them, even during conscious shooting, gradually gaining fame in narrow circles as a surrealist photographer. At the same time, according to Breezeh, much of the material for Briscoe Park was shot in the state of somnambulism. Later, he finished filming some scenes consciously, but most of the project belongs to his unconscious self, creating in the bright light of the moon. Yes, the photographer deliberately added Stargate references to the project, but he also told the author of the post that there was not a single CGI shot in the videos. Everything we see in Briscoe Park is absolutely real and often inexplicable. I'd like to point out that I certainly can't be sure that this post isn't part of an elaborate game the photographer is playing to further the intrigue surrounding his Briscoe Park universe. There's no way we can rule out that possibility. Either way, however, this is a very beautiful story, adding many touches to the atmosphere of cozy mystery surrounding Breezeh's creations. And I'm eerily curious to see how the incredible journey through the abandoned locations that the author offers us will end as he continues to post new videos. And we are still a part of this fascinating story, the ultimate goal of which is still hidden from us behind a veil of mystery. However, as soon as there is new information about this project, I promise I will immediately tell it to you. Stay tuned. Subscribe to Scary Mysteries videos right now. Immerse yourself in the unknown and become part of the revelation. Uncover the hidden